Welcome back, friends, to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and today, backed by popular demand, we will be bringing you the Top 10 Scary Pokemon Creepypastas Part 3. In at number 10, Battery Ditto. This creepypasta was written by an unknown author on the Creepypasta wiki page. It's a story about how Team Rocket was experimenting on Dittos, using several of them to try to create a new Pokemon. They would keep them in cramped cages wired with electricity, and if they ever made a peep, they would be shocked almost to death. One night a security guard was falling asleep, so he released his Arcanine to watch over them. When he woke up from a loud scream, he discovered that a Ditto had bred with the Arcanine. After several weeks of the Ditto not changing back to its original shape, the dark looking Arcanine gave birth to an egg. When the egg finally hatched, it was a Pokemon that they then called Houndour. With this new discovery of birthing Pokemon, Team Rocket rapidly began trying to replicate the process, torturing the Dittos as they went through it. And while some results were successful, most led to the death of many Pokemon. Word traveled fast, and soon the lab was destroyed, releasing all of the trapped Dittos and the newly created Pokemon. However, this did not stop Team Rocket. They continued torturing any Ditto that they could find, and still, to this day, are attempting to manipulate them. There is no end to the mutations that they can force on those poor battery Dittos. And at number 9, Mewtwo. This creepypasta story is based on an original tale found on Tumblr.com. It's about a gamer who picks up a copy of Pokemon Blue, and when he begins playing, a Mewtwo starts stalking him. Every time he entered into the grass, he would be thrown into a battle with a level 70 Mewtwo. And at the time, all of his Pokemon had very low levels, so sure enough, the Mewtwo made quick work of his party. However, the strange thing was that when Mewtwo defeated one of his Pokemon, they were completely wiped from his party. He continued to reset his device, but nothing worked. They were all still gone. Oddly, upon restarting, the Mew glitch occurred when the gamer managed to make it to Lavender Town without running into the Mewtwo. This glitch would keep Mew in your party no matter what. And when he inevitably ran into the Mewtwo again, his party was wiped out, leaving only the Mew to face him. When both were down to just a sliver of health, the Mew used Explosion, causing both Pokemon to faint and the screen to go black. Upon restarting, the Mewtwo was there, and with a text that read, "What have I become?" It then used Struggle on itself, resulting in a Pokeball containing Sacred Ash to remain in its place. The gamer used this to revive his once defeated party, and would come to the revelation that maybe Mewtwo isn't just a monster, but a Pokemon with a compassionate heart after all. In at number 8, Mount Silver. This is a creepy yet somehow touching story about the ghost of your rival in the first Pokemon games. It's known that years before you meet Professor Oak, he trained your rival Red to reach Mount Silver. What's unknown is that once Red was there, he was never heard from again. And upon failed attempts at contacting him, Professor Oak travels to Mount Silver to discover that Red has died. What he sees though is the spirit of Red, and his ghost simply utters, "Help me." Oak knew that he needed to find a trainer worthy enough to make it to Mount Silver in order to free the spirit of Red. The Elite Four are positioned strategically as your last test to prove your worthiness as a trainer. When you finally meet Red at Mount Silver, he's surprised to see you, and with no words exchanged, a battle of epic proportions ensues. When you have won the battle, Red says nothing, and before disappearing from your view, he has a faint smile, almost to say, "Thank you." Number 7, Here Lies Giovanni. This creepypasta is based on a story called Colorblind found on the Creepypasta wiki page. It's a tale of a gamer who falls deep into a hack copy of Pokemon Yellow. In the game, the main character is named Dane, and he has a Pikachu named Laddie. The gamer finds out that this storyline is much different than he's ever played. It follows Dane, Laddie, and another traveler named Delia, who travels with them throughout the game. And after becoming somewhat famous for his successes in battles, he's asked to become the gym leader for Viridian City. He then hears a snap and his game shuts off. But when he restarts it, a text box appears that says 1 year later. His sprite is different. He's now the gym leader, but his Pikachu is missing. The gamer soon comes to realize that Laddie had passed away in the year that Dane was the gym leader. He has one last interaction with his old friend Delia, who doesn't want anything to do with him after his neglect led to the loss of Laddie. He gives her his mother's old house in Pallet Town and decides that it's best if they just part ways. Then, once again, the game clicks and shuts off. And when the gamer restarts, Dane's sprite is now wearing a striped suit and has much more defined, mature features. The game takes over in cinematic fashion and brings Dane to the Pokemon Tower. He says one last goodbye to Laddie, and a text box appears that says, "I will never find another you, but a Pikachu I will find. I will form an organization to purge Kanto for me. I came as Dane, but I will leave as another." The sprite walks along the tombstone, stopping at one where a text box appears that says, "I must find a name appropriate to depart with." The tombstone just reads, "Here lies Giovanni." Number 6. Nightmare's Revenge. In this creepypasta story from the wiki page, a gamer has an evil encounter with a rogue Gengar. He first comes across the Pokemon in the wild, and when he catches it, he names it Nightmare. And after regular life events took over, the gamer never really had time to play his Pokemon Soul Silver. And when he finally picked it back up, the Gengar was no longer in his party. And in front of him was his rival curled up in a pool of blood, barely alive. With his last words he said, "Ethan, a Gengar attacked me." He said something about finding a guy named Red. "Here, take this." What he gave him was a crucifix of some kind. And after tracking down the Gengar, he battled with him, except the Gengar somehow knew the gamer's real name. He said, "Tell me, Ben, do you still care about me?" Ben answered by just hitting the yes option, but Nightmare didn't care. He wiped out Ben's Pokemon, and with only his sprite left on the screen, Ben remembered the crucifix. He used that, and then the Gengar sprite appeared shocked as it sunk into the ground, leaving a text box that said, "Nightmare has died." And as the credits rolled and Ben in complete shock, he was about to shut off his Game Boy when Nightmare's red eyes filled the screen and a demonic voice said,
"I wouldn't celebrate so soon, Ben. For as long as you live, I will haunt you."
Number 5. Divulging into Madness. This next creepypasta story is about the brainwashing that Pokemon had on the brain of a young girl. Her parents bought her a Pokemon game to fit in with her new friends at school, but what they didn't see coming was how isolated it actually made her. She was obsessed with it, and only took her eyes off the screen while sleeping. And one night the parents snuck into her room to see what was so appealing about the game. They discovered that she had only been playing for 13 hours, but that didn't make any sense because since buying her the game months ago, she never put it down. And when the little girl wakes up, she starts her Pokemon game, but from this perspective, we see that the game has been talking to her. And the character Red told the little girl about her parents sneaking into the room to play the game, and that they needed to be taken care of. Obsessed with the game, she obeyed. And when her parents greeted her in the kitchen, she grabbed the knife from the drawer, and as the game instructed her, "Good girl, now finish him," she quickly slits her father's throat, and with her mother in disbelief, she desperately tries to convince her daughter to drop the knife and the Game Boy in her other hand.
Red then says, "Now darling, don't listen. She wants to take me again, and who knows what she'll do."
With her mother now trying to run away, the girl throws the knife, hitting her mother in the back. Red then says, "Your suffering ends now. Now we can be friends forever." In at number 4, Tick, Tick, Tick. This creepypasta story is about why beating Pokemon may not be such a good idea. Our protagonist plays his way through the game, and after every gym leader he defeats, they all say the same thing. Tick, tick, tick. He is waiting. Every single time they say that. Before he is about to face Red at Mount Silver, his sprite says, "For the sake of you and me, the ticking needs to continue." He ignored the message and decided to find out exactly why the trainers were warning him of Red. And when he defeats Red, a text box appears saying, "Tick, tick, boom." And just as the gamer is reading the word boom, his Game Boy sends a jolt of electricity, shocking him so much that he drops the game. And when he picks it up, the save file is corrupted. That's when he pieces together his character's last message. When you defeat Red, there is nothing. The ticking was leading him to that. As long as Red was undefeated, everyone in the game would still exist. Beat the game, and you destroy their world. Hence his character saying, "For the sake of you and me, the ticking needs to continue." Oddly, he can still hear the subtle ticking noise wherever he goes. Even with a digital clock, he hears tick, tick, tick. Number 3, Ghost MAROWAK. This story is based on a creepypasta from the wiki page and, like most others, has an unknown author. I wish I could give credit, but it's not there. But it's about a gamer who managed to catch a ghost MAROWAK by using a hack of infinite Master Balls. Amazingly, MAROWAK stayed in his party but was simply classified as a regular Marowak. However, the consequences were worse than he thought. With the ghost Marowak now in his party, the gamer lost everything. All of his previously caught Pokemon, every TM, every HM, everything. Anytime that he would enter into the grass, he would always come into battle with a Cubone. every time. He restarted the game with hopes of it fixing his mistake of choosing to cheat the game, but when he started, his sprite was now replaced by the ghost MAROWAK, and every time he hits any button, the poor MAROWAK lets out a cry that will haunt him forever. And at number 2, Poor Rival. This creepypasta is more of a history lesson on your rival, but it still remains something to consider when playing the game that may creep you out. When you meet your rival in Lavender Town, he's actually there to lay his fallen Raticate to rest. The one Pokemon that you actually defeated in your last meeting. Instead of blaming you for his loss, your rival channels his hatred for you into becoming the Indigo League champion. However, before he can do that, you beat him once again. And at the end, your poor rival is scolded by his grandfather while you receive the professor's praise. Throughout the game, you manage to crush your rival's innocence, crush his dreams, and steal away the love from his own grandfather. The author then ends the story by saying, maybe he's a ghost that can't leave, or just an orphan who lost his Raticate in a freak accident and can't stop thinking about it, and never leaving until death itself can rid of it. But that's how it goes. Or maybe it's just all in your head. Lastly, in our number 1 spot, Everything Dies. This creepypasta is based on a story by an author known as Flaky Porcupine. Great name. It's told from the perspective of a young Paris Pokemon, who at a young age lost its father. The Pokemon's mother would tell the young Paris that everything dies, sweetie, it's what we were born to do. Confused by this, it tries to lead a normal life in the woods, wrestling with other Pokemon, but with each day it can feel the parasites on its back growing and taking control of its body. And when it finally is captured by a trainer, which it refers to as a two-legger, it continually hears the mentioning of the number 24. What that Paris doesn't know is that the trainers are talking about the level in which Paris evolves. And when it's experiencing its evolution, the trainer says it's okay, everything dies, which finally makes it understand what its mother was talking about. The author then describes the transformation by saying, my body suddenly glows in an intense white that would blind one's eyes before I too become just like my brethren around me. It felt great pain, that of 1,000 knives piercing its body. The last thing it hears is congratulations, your Paris evolved into a Parasect. We did it, guys, and that has been the top 10 Pokemon Creepypastas Part 3. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then share it with someone you love, plus hit that thumbs up button for us. Also, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and let us know down in the comments which story freaked you out the most. To see more videos like this one, just click the playlist on the screen. From Top 10 Gaming, I'm Johnny Rogers, and until next time, take care.